Welcome back to the Big Life Podcast,
This episode of the Big Life Podcast is brought to you by soccer.com.
your go-to for boots, kits, gear, and everything you need to play your game.
And guess what? We're giving away soccer.com gift cards this month and next.
Woohoo! Check our Instagram today for the first of several soccer.com gift card giveaways.
Yay. Leah, how did your games go this week?
My game, I had one game, we played Louisville, and it actually went great. We beat them. The score was 3-1, and it was a good game for us overall. We went down a goal, so we were down 1-0. So the first half honestly wasn't great. First 20 minutes, not great from us, but I mean, our coaches and ourselves were just really proud of ourselves for bouncing back and scoring 3 goals to end up winning the game. I think it was kind of a testament to us that we just never gave up the whole time, and we knew that once we got scored on, like, we could easily win it back. They scored in the first half, so we had time. We knew we had time to get the game back, and we ended up doing that. So that was great. I mean, credit to Louisville, though. They're a very organized team, very well coached, super organized, especially in their defense. Definitely just a very organized team. And yeah, a great team, very athletic too. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good game. How did your games go?
Not great. We didn't have a great week, but looking forward to our game on Friday. We play Vanderbilt. I'm not really trying to look back on our games. We played LSU and Alabama, and yeah, 2 tough games. But looking at a Vandy game on Friday, so looking forward to that. Who do you guys
Yes.
play this week?
This week we have 2 games. We play FSU on Thursday and then SMU on Sunday. So, I mean, all our eyes are towards FSU on Thursday right now. I think they're ranked like number 6 or something right now. We're number 2. So, and we definitely owe them some from the past years. So, I mean, they're such a talented team too. It's going to be a great game. We're excited though. We are fired up.
Home
So,
game?
yeah, home game
Ooh.
Thursday and Sunday. We play SMU. They're new to the ACC, so that should be a fun game too. And it's senior night on Sunday, so that's kind of, I don't even want to think about that because I'm a part of senior night now. I'm a senior. It's gonna be sad. It's like our last regular season game at home. So my whole family's coming up though, so I'm excited for that, and all my friends' families too. But
Yay.
oh, it's surreal. I don't even like thinking about it. I don't wanna think about that. I'm only thinking about FSU now, but then after FSU, oh gosh, senior night. It's
You
gonna
guys
be fun though. It's gonna be great.
do you guys do a senior night, like, festivities? I don't know. Whatever,
Yeah,
like,
so
before or after the game?
like a little bit. So we have like our locker room, our freshmen like decorate our locker room, so that's always fun. And then yeah, we have like a procession kind of onto the field with like our parents and stuff, and then like just something little before the game. And then after the game, we're just gonna a bunch of this, or there's only like 6 of us seniors. Yeah, 6. Just like getting together for dinner and stuff with our families. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. It's crazy. It's already coming to an end soon.
Yeah. It's actually insane how fast the season goes, but, like, I mean, for the seniors, like, it's just I mean,
Mhm.
I couldn't even imagine right now thinking about that.
I know. It's like
So
sad, but it's also like happy because I'm so grateful. Like all I've been through, all my seasons have been great. Like the people I've met have been great. So I'm sad, but I'm also just like, I definitely am ready for the new chapter, whatever it brings, and just so grateful and thankful for all my time. And it's hard to be sad because I'm like, wow, like I had the best 4 years I could ever have imagined. So that's exciting and that's happy. And I'll always look back on these 4 years with just gratitude and thanks. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's just bittersweet and I'm gonna miss my friends a lot. But we have like 3 more games after that still. They're all away, but 3 more games and then hopefully we'll make a good run in ACC tournament and the NCAA tourney. So senior night's definitely not the end.
Yeah.
So
We got a lot of soccer
lots,
left.
yeah, exactly.
Well, today we actually have a really exciting guest, and we can't wait for you guys to hear from her.
Today we are gonna be diving into more talk about academics and balancing academics with soccer. Since being a student comes before being an athlete, we have a special guest with us today to talk more about the importance of focusing on academics while also balancing your time with sports. So today we welcome Jennifer Pratt, who is the women's soccer academic advisor here at Notre Dame. She helps us a lot with choosing our classes, helping us get tutors if we need, and she especially helps a lot with the transition of the freshmen from high school into college. And she's just always there for our team if we need to talk about really anything. Jen is the best. So, Jen, why don't you first just start talking a little bit about your work and what you do here at Notre Dame?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Leah, it's so fun to be here. I work in academic services for student athletes, which is an office at Notre Dame. We have about 12 or 13 academic counselors. We divide up the teams. I'm lucky that I get to work with the women's soccer team. And in doing that, you kind of nailed it. I work a lot with the freshmen very closely to just kind of help them acclimate and get used to being that student and an athlete, especially at a place like Notre Dame where the rigor is intense and the expectations are high. And so I spend a lot of time with the freshmen and everything from, like you said, picking classes, tutors, things like that. And also just kind of checking in with them and making sure that things are going well and that they're finding that balance. That's so important. So
Mhm. Yeah. What kind of specifically drew you to this field of work to work with college athletes? And then what is so special about Notre Dame, would you say?
oh gosh. Ugh. So what drew me to this position really was, I think, Leah, I think you know, my family was a military family for a long time, and my husband was actually quote unquote stationed here at Notre Dame. So when we moved here, I had been a stay-at-home mom for a while, and I decided it was time to go back to work. And so I was looking at just open positions and things, and I saw this job in the listing and I thought, wow, that would be so awesome. And the reason I thought that would be awesome is because I've had other experience working with athletes at a different level. I worked for the NBA for a while years ago and I loved it. I loved working with people who just commit at such a high level, people who are extremely disciplined and that kind of want it all. And it's just a fun group of people to work with. And so when I saw this position, I just thought, wow, that would be so great to just kind of help them navigate and learn about Notre Dame and learn about this place and learn about this community. And so yeah, I applied and was offered the job and never looked back. So I've been there now for 10 years and it's I mean, I echo what Nate said during his episode where Notre Dame's just a special place filled with really special people. The community is unmatched. There's nowhere else like it. And so being a part of it has just been really, really a special gift in my life. And being a part of the lives of student athletes has just been amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, what's been your favorite part with working with the women's soccer team at Notre Dame?
I love this group of ladies. I just do. And just when I think it like it could not get any better, then another cohort comes in and I'm like, oh gosh, I love these girls even more. I think that it's not easy. Being a student athlete anywhere is not easy, and I love the trust we build with each other. And I mean, I trust them; they trust me. My office often becomes a place where, yes, we talk a lot about academics, but I'm sure Leah will attest. We talk about a lot of other things too, and yeah, I just love getting to know each individual student as just for who they are and what brought them here and where they want to go from here. And so those conversations are so important to me. Just those check-in meetings are really important to me. We have this incredible coaching staff that they're just deeply committed to this team and these girls and to all of the support staff too. Nate Norman checks in regularly just to make sure things are good. And having his support is a huge, huge part of my job and one that I'm incredibly grateful to have.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Our staff is the best, and you're definitely a big part of that. Kind of going off those weekly meetings that you mentioned, how do you help freshmen transition into college academics and like through those talk about a little bit about those weekly meetings that you do and then also the study hall kind of program that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we make it mandatory for all freshman student athletes to meet with their academic counselor once a week. And those are just check in meetings. They're probably, sometimes they might be 15 minutes. Sometimes they go much longer than that, just kind of depending on what the student has going on. And yeah, we check in to see how classes are going. What are they enjoying? What kind of professors are they really enjoying learning from? What kind of format, as far as, do you like to write a lot of papers? Would you rather sit for exams? Again, it's especially a place like Notre Dame. These are individual, unique experiences. There's a team of 30 has 30 different ways to do it. And so through those meetings, I'm able to really just kind of really get to know the individual student athlete and learn how best I can serve that person. So those meetings are super important to me, just to make sure that, again, it's a touch point, but it's an important one. I tell the students all the time that as soon as they cross the threshold of my office, I can tell if it's a good day or a bad day, just depending on how they walk through that door. And I love being able to celebrate with them when it's a really great day. And then I also am there if it's not such a great day, and we kind of help navigate that. If I'm seeing the need for resources to be put in their path, maybe it's going to the university counseling center, maybe it's, something else where, maybe they're not necessarily accessing food, well enough. They're doing, death by a million granola bars, that's all they're eating and they're not getting enough balance there. Sometimes that's shared in my office too, and I can help them. I can make some phone calls, see if there's a way to help them. Because ultimately, when everything's going really well in the classroom and in your life, and it's also going well in soccer, and same the other way. It's when things are going well in soccer, it seems to translate into other things too. So those weekly meetings are super important. And then, of course, Leah, you remember study hall. That's a mandatory part of our freshman first year experience. And it's 2 nights a week for 2 hours each night. So a total of 4 hours. And we gather all of the student athletes in one building. They have quiet study rooms. And then we bring the resources into that space. So we have tutoring, we have the writing center, we have one of us counselors is on duty each night too. So if the student does have a question or needs something from us, we're available right there in that moment as well. And that's really an important foundational piece of the puzzle, because I think it really drives home what that studying commitment really needs to look like. Is 4 hours enough to be a successful student at Notre Dame? No. You definitely are going to need more time than that. But this kind of gives them a special time to just kind of carve out, to just work on homework, get some readings done, work on papers, meet with tutors and things like that. And so I know students often kind of roll their eyes that they have study hall that night, but ultimately it's really just to help them build that foundation. That's so important.
Yeah, at University of Missouri, we also have like mentoring freshman year, and I agree that just doing that every week is huge with transition. A lot of it is even just like my tutors would help with just homework, whatever you need, and then my advisor, they would even make a schedule for the week, and just like figuring out exactly when things need to be due. And obviously your life during season is chaotic and everywhere, so it helps a ton, especially for our freshmen.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
What would you say is the biggest difference between high school and college academics?
Oh my goodness. It really comes down to the scheduling of things. When you're in high school, it's pretty much every day you're there from, let's say, 8:30 to 2:30 or whatever. And yeah, you might have like a part of the schedule where it's like, you have certain classes one day, different classes the next, certain, like a repeating type schedule. But for the most part, you're in classes for the same amount of time each day. And then you might go home for a little bit, then you go to practice, different things like that. And so being in college, every day is going to be a little bit different. You might have classes on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have different classes, of course, Tuesday, Thursday. But I know at Notre Dame, they do a lot of discussion classes as well. So that might be an added thing, maybe in the evening even. And so getting used to that type of schedule in some ways, not in in some ways you wind up having more time, more free time during your day than you had in high school because you're not just going from class to class to class all day long every day. And that takes some getting used to. And I know a lot of times students will come into my office and kind of say, I don't have any time. I have no time. I have no time. And they don't, but they do because they might have 15, 20, 30 minutes here or there in between a class or what, that they can actually take advantage of. And I usually help them find those little windows of time that they actually do have that they didn't think they had. But yeah, I think the scheduling and the time management of it all is just completely different. And that's a big adjustment for students coming in their freshman year of college to just get used to, oh, you mean Monday, Wednesday, I have class at 9:30, Tuesday, Thursday, I don't start my day till 12:30. And sure enough, they're going to sleep in until 12:15 and then they're going to roll off to class and then complain later that they don't have time. And so it takes a lot of discipline to make sure that you're approaching each day mindfully and thoughtfully and with your future self in mind because stress is a thing for sure, and managing your time helps eliminate some of the stress, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree that time management and like organization is definitely the biggest thing, at least for me too, that I've like learned. And definitely for me also is like keeping a planner. Like I have to have a planner. It's right in my backpack with me everywhere I go. And I write down literally everything I have. And then I cross it off when I'm done. But yeah, so just I feel like that's important, keeping a planner and then time management. What is one piece of advice you would give to future student athletes who are looking to play at a Division I school and also like such a like at a prestigious academic college like Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to learn how to manage your time because if you don't, it will manage you. You will absolutely fall into a big hole very quickly, which is easy to fall into. It's really hard to climb out. And the effort and energy you have to use to climb out of it is better spent, of course, playing soccer. And so learning really well, like how to organize themselves. And I tell students all the time that it doesn't have to be my method for you to organize. Like I offer methods of organization. I show examples. We have a semester at a glance that we use for freshman year. And many students love that. There's some that just don't use it. And so I'm not going to push them or insist that they use that. However, I want them to use something. So I would tell a high school student, hey, get a really good system of organization. Your moms and dads and coaches and teammates that you've always been with aren't going to be with you wherever you go. And those who, mom's not going to be there to remind you that you have this coming up or that coming up and it really just falls on you. And so it's important to have that in a place where it is organized, where you can kind of just brain dump everything into it. And everybody has their own method for doing that. I just would tell a high school student to find that method and really learn how to use it well. And because that's always such a reactive thing for students. They're kind of like, wait, what? I need to, no, I don't use a planner. I just set reminders in my phone. And it's like, it's not going to work. There's a lot coming at you. Like I pull on students' times. Of course, coaches do, professors do, your RAs, your roommates, your friends who might not be on the team are pulling on your time too. And so you got to learn how to keep it organized. And that, I mean, that's just a huge part of success is just really taking control of your life and your experience and having an organized spot to do that and knowing how to use it well is, gosh, that would be so valuable to have day one instead of semester two, where they realize then that a planner probably would have been really helpful.
Yeah. Mhm.
I also do something similar, like Leah said, with the planner. I have like little note pop outs like on my computer, and then for each class I'll like write. But it helps so much just with like crossing it off, getting it off, like seeing it gone is like the best feeling also is you just get to like cross it off.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally that way too, Kate. sometimes I'll put things on my list that I've done that I'm like, okay, I'm going to just put it on my list and then check it off.
Yeah.
Just because that satisfaction of being able to check it off is huge. And it really gives you momentum to just continue tackling the list. And so, yeah, I love that. You're a girl after my own heart. I absolutely love that.
That's what I do too. I do it with like I'll write down on my calendar like laundry just so that I can like cross it off or like random stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff that, like, has to get done
Yeah,
and
exactly.
but yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? It
Mhm.
feels good to just be like,
Mhm.
"Okay, look at that, I've accomplished 5 things." They might be the 5 simplest things, but that's okay. That's okay because then you've got that feeling of moving forward and momentum and making progress that you can then tackle item number 6. So, yeah, I love that.
What is some advice that you would give for students who are choosing their major? Because I know for a lot of freshmen, even sophomores, juniors, it's hard trying to figure out what major you want to choose. So, what advice would you give to them?
I would say that and what I do say is find something that you you could look forward to learning about for 8 semesters. And that's important because yes, your major is important, absolutely. Your time in college is very important, absolutely. You're learning a ton every single day and I don't ever want my students to feel like they're just getting beat up by their curriculum where it's like, well, all I do all day is study and homework and that's it. And I don't, I don't have friends. I don't like or I go to the library and I go to soccer. Like those are my 2 things that I do. And college is about so much more than that. And so if I'm starting to see students who are getting kind of beat up by their by their curriculum or where you just their spirit is kind of just I wouldn't say extinguished, but just like a really dull flame that I can pick up on very well because, of course, I meet with these students all the time. And it's like what college is about just exploration. It's about learning a lot about yourself, about how to adult, about the importance of community and just and doing things kind of on your own. And so find a major that is going to allow you to enjoy the 4 years and look forward to the 40 years after that working in that field. I know years ago we had a student who she came in, she was a finance major, and just getting to know her, I'm like, just personality wise, you just really don't strike me as a finance major. But she felt a lot of pressure from her family to major in finance. And Notre Dame, of course, has a top business school. So I get that. She was getting all this pressure though. And so but her spirit, I just was like, now I wasn't gonna tell her she needs to change her major. She did figured that out on her own, but she was like a totally different student once she let go of finance and went into something that was she was excited about. And I just remember telling her, I don't want you to just like barely survive this place. I want you to thrive in this place, and we all do. No, none of us want to see student athletes or any students just fail around us. But I want it to really just kind of fuel your spirit and your soul, and just feel really good and feel like, hey, I've got this. Like I like work. I like learning about this. I'm interested in this, and I'm just excited about my time here, and I'm excited about what's ahead in this field.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And definitely, like, even on our team, like, people switch their majors all the time, even up until junior year. And, like, at least at Notre Dame, and I think other schools too, it's very easy to switch your major, which is nice. And then, like, usually freshman year is just a bunch of like general classes that like will work with any major. So that's kind of nice too. You don't like have to go into college knowing like, oh, exactly like what you want. I think I switched my major twice. So, and now I'm in one business analytics that I really enjoy. So,
Exactly.
um,
I
yeah,
do recall, Aaliyah Klinke switching
yes,
her major, and it's great. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure you girls will attest too, like the difference between an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old is really dramatic. Those are
mhm,
really important years. And so when an 18-year-old comes into my office and is like, "Okay, I'm gonna major in science pre-professional and I'm gonna be a doctor and da, da, da," and they're very, very driven and they're very focused on that. I'd say 9 times out of 10, they're coming from a household where one or two parents are both doctors, and that's all they know. That's what's just very normal and natural to them. And in many cases, it's a great fit, but not in all cases. And
Yeah.
college should be about that. It should be about learning more about yourself and being able to just find a field that you're passionate about and that you're excited about. It's
Mhm.
so important. And I love that kind of discovery, working with student athletes and just them discovering that about themselves is really just a really fun part of my job.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, kind of pivoting from this. So when we have to miss some class for travel trips, what is the process for like helping athletes to stay on track with that?
Yeah. So Notre Dame, of course, takes attendance very seriously, and they pride themselves on having smaller class sizes. And to protect that, they, want to just make sure that students are present and accounted for. And it's hard. They move at a very fast pace. And so what I generally do if students are missing quite a bit, especially, is make sure they're working with tutors. And I know sometimes there's like a stigma, students coming out of high school going to college, and they're like, I don't want to work with a tutor. That's no, no, no. And it's not because it's not punitive by any stretch of the imagination. It's really just making efficient and productive use of your time. And so I want to make sure that that student who's been traveling has those resources in place and is using the resources and using them well. And so I would make sure that's really solid. I always tell our students to make sure they have a conversation with their professors, let them know that I'm going to be traveling to, wherever on Thursday for a game. I'm going to be missing class. Our professors are very supportive, but they will often explain what you're going to miss. Love when the students really just lock in with that and they're really dialed in. Maybe they have a friend in the class who'd be willing to take some notes as well. I always encourage to go meet with the professor during office hours or work with the TA on content they've missed, because that's the name of the game, right? Is being able to stay up on all of the content and keep up with the pace of it, even if you're not there. So I would say that's also something we work really closely with the freshmen on, making sure that, again, that foundation is built. They understand what the process is and why it's important to kind of go outside of the norm and make sure that they're getting the information that they missed.
Mhm.
Yeah, we freshman year were told like, I mean, obviously we send out travel letters that like you're going to be gone for, I don't know, we have a Thursday game, you'll be gone that Thursday. But I always made sure to like go and introduce myself to the professor beforehand, just because then they have your name to a face, and then you're able to like, even if you come in for office hours, they know like, okay, this is a student athlete coming in. And also I think it helps a little bit with just introducing yourself that like you do care about the class. Is what I've seen, and a lot of professors like are very thankful for that.
Absolutely. I tell students all the time that these are college professors. They get into it because they want to work with college students, not because they dislike the age group. No, they've really kind of committed so much of their life to being able to teach at this level, and it's because they want to be a part of your story and they want to be helpful and useful and be able to connect with their students. I think that's so rewarding for professors. And so often I'll get calls from professors that just sing the praises. Just, oh, this student came to me, she was so professional, she came to me, she explained that they have a game. And yet our office as well, Kate, sends out memos and just to all the professors. And yeah, it's an important connection to make. And again, these professors become fans of yours. They're just like, hey, you know what, I want to see what Leah is doing on Thursday. Like, how can I watch? I've had so many professors reach out to me over the many years to just be like, is there a way I can watch this game? How do I tune in and just see what they're doing and watch their game? And I think that's really special. And it just speaks to them wanting to be a part of it as well. And I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, our professors here, I definitely amazing. They definitely, most of them, at least the ones I have had in the business school, are super understanding with all of the travel schedules and stuff, and they're willing to work with me. And then, yeah, a bunch of them do like come to the games and stuff. And I'll go into class and they'll tell me like good win or like they'll comment on someone. Even like one of my classes now, it's like 200 people. One like probably the biggest class I've been in at Notre Dame. But he like came up to me and two other girls on our team who are in this class and was like pointed out one of them like good goal the other day, like I watched and stuff. So like that was and we didn't even like introduce ourselves or anything. He just like came right up to us in this like huge class and we were like, "Oh, cool. Like he knows who we are." So yeah, they definitely root for us and like work with us really well here and I feel like that's at most places, but definitely also communication is the key. Whether like even if the academic office emails them, like if you email them too, or what I'll do usually is if we have a Thursday game, let's say, and I'm missing Thursday, then in Tuesday when I have that class, I'll go up to him after class and be like, "Hi, like I'm Leah. I have a game on Thursday. I'm not going to be in class. Like, is there anything I need to do?" And they definitely respect that a lot, and they like the communication. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
okay. Kind of to wrap us up, there were some people on Girls Soccer Network Instagram that asked a bunch of questions, but most of them are about like the balance with school and soccer, which we all went over, and like kind of majors, like how do you balance majors? But one of the ones that struck me that we haven't talked about yet is someone asked, what SAT scores and ACT scores do I need to have? So if you could kind of talk a little bit about that. And I think a lot of schools are test optional now. So what would
Yeah.
you say about that, Jen?
Yeah, I would, and I can speak for Notre Dame, of course, and they are test optional, at least for the current application cycle. I believe last year, I think it was sometime in the mid fall, they announced like they would continue to be test optional for this go around. So I'm waiting to see if they announce it again for the next application cycle. But I I think, I mean, everybody has their own opinion if SAT and ACT scores are worthwhile. I meet with a lot of recruits and their families often ask me if if I feel the student should take the SAT. I think it's always a good experience to take the exam and then you decide if it's going to help build your application or not. Sometimes it absolutely will build your application and it gives the school a really good idea of where you're I wouldn't say where you're coming from. I mean, your transcript is obviously a part of your package too, and that's super important. But I think the SAT and ACTs just kind of put it more on like a national comparison type scale instead of, well, this individual went to a small school in name let's say Pennsylvania, and she's a star athlete. However, that school didn't necessarily offer a lot of AP classes or anything like that. So it kind of just elevates it a little bit in many cases, not in all cases. And so I think it's important to include it if you feel like it's going to be resume building. And but but again, there's so much to your life and I know I can speak for Notre Dame. Their emphasis is on building a community of people. And what they don't want is 2,000 incoming freshmen that are all identical. They want them coming from different backgrounds. They want them having different experiences. They want them coming from both, cities and country and international. And so building this community is really critical. And that's not necessarily measured in SAT and ACT scores. I think it's important to build your resume as solidly as you can. And again, if that includes a top-notch SAT or ACT score, then by all means, I'm sure the admissions office will find it helpful. But yeah, I mean, it is test optional, and so I can't say there's no magic number. I couldn't say that you have to be perfect. No, and so there's no magic number. I wish there was because I get asked that question quite a bit. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, that'll make sense. And I mean, it's kind of nice, I feel like being test optional just so that you do have the choice. So like you can take it and then if you're like, "Oh, like this is really good. I want to submit it," or like, "Oh, maybe it would be better not to." Like you just have that choice and I feel like that makes it better, especially for athletes who like since your sport is helping you a little bit to get into the university, like you maybe like the test is even more optional. Like you don't need to submit it all the time, but definitely should if you think it'll help your application. But
Yeah, and I would say too, like to add to that, Leah, is it's an important experience to have to sit for an exam like that, to, almost like even have that sort of anticipation and to be able to actually understand what a test like that feels like. Because again, like it's important to look into future you, and maybe there's a grad school opportunity down the road that you might have to take an exam to, before you apply, and having gone through an SAT or an ACT already once, you at least know that feeling.
mhm,
So I think it's generally usually a great experience to have regardless of the outcome.
yes, for
It
sure.
to have gone through that once makes it a little less intimidating down the road if and when you decide that that path is for you.
Mhm. Right, that makes sense. Just a great, good life experience learning lesson. So, I think that's pretty much it for this interview. Thank you so much for being our special guest today and helping us with this interview. We loved hearing all about the academic side of Division One athletes and what it takes to be student and an athlete. Personally, from the Notre Dame women's soccer team, we are all so lucky to have you as our advisor, and we appreciate your constant help and support so much. So, thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was great, Leah. Thank you for inviting me, Kate. It was so nice meeting you, and thank you. This was really a fun way to spend some time tonight. And yeah, it's important. Finding that balance between being a student and an athlete is hard to do, and it does. I love being able to just play a little part in that, to just help those students find that balance, and then just watch them just holy cow, just explode with all of it, and it's just a really fun process. So yeah, glad to be here, glad to share a little bit about what I do, and yeah, appreciate the invitation.
Of
Yes, thanks
course.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
So that was a great interview from Jen, and I actually learned so much. I just definitely want to echo her point about organization and time management and just how important that is in college. I think for me, that was the biggest step up from high school too. Like in high school, my high school like gave us planners to like write all our stuff in, but in college, it's all on your own. You have to get your planners, your school supplies, stay organized however you want. And like Jen was talking about, you have two, maybe three classes a day, and the rest of your day is free. I mean, obviously practice and stuff too, but you definitely have more free time. So it's like, what are you going to do with that free time? Like, and it's hard to just do anything but homework, but really important to just use all the little gaps you have to do schoolwork or whatever you need to do to stay caught up on things and so that you don't have to procrastinate about assignments and stuff. So yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. What was yours?
I think my biggest takeaway, I kind of talked about this during the interview, though, was the relationships you can make with professors, and then also just like class, like taking classes that are going to be like beneficial to you. And then obviously she was talking about I don't know if they like really, you guys know, like she'll like know the professor and like what works well for you guys and the soccer team. And that's the same here. But then building relationships with those professors is huge, just because you never know also like later in life with like the connections, maybe you need something from one of those professors and they know that you were a good student, you're on the soccer team and you're still like good in their class on top of work even during season is huge. So I always try to like build a relationship, somewhat of a type of relationship, even if it's just like they know you by your first name, know who you are in the class. Because I mean, at least for me, some of my classes are like 200 plus people lectures, and the professor maybe knows 10 kids in that class. And if they know you, like out of 200 kids, that's says a lot. And
Mhm.
it's like always
Yeah.
great to just build those relationships, introduce
Yeah.
yourself, and they'll help you out a lot of times too, just
Yes.
because they know that you like care about it, like the
Yes.
class.
Exactly. For sure. Like if you talk to them, like there's no way you're getting a bad grade in that class. Like they'll give you a good grade just because you go up and say hi and
No,
like
yes.
show that you're interested. So that's like definitely like not a secret. Like they can literally just bump up your grade because they're like, oh, they're a good student and they're
And
really trying hard. So they're gonna
yeah,
get an A or whatever. Yeah.
and a
Uh
lot of them also have had like athletes probably before too, that like even this semester I introduced myself to one of my professors and he's like, "You're the first athlete that's ever like introduced yourself to me." And
Okay.
that just says a lot. Like it
Yeah, that
really does.
does say a lot.
In our women's soccer team here, like we're really, really big on academics. Like our GPA is crazy high, like as a team. Crazy, crazy high. And we take like pride in that. So
Mhm.
I think having a team also that is like really big on that and on top of it, and our seniors every year I've been here have been very like our GPA does not drop. Like and it's gotten even better like each year and
Yeah,
it's
that's
mind blowing
awesome.
how high it's gotten.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
awesome.
but yeah, I think that's also something that credit to them. We have had really good GPA just because of that.
Yeah. Wait, no, that's awesome. That's great. And yeah, I feel like everyone always says like networking is so important. So just like
Mhm.
talking to all your professors, like getting the connections, because yeah, they can help you with even like jobs later in life and stuff, and or like getting an internship or something. Like your professors can help with that so much. One of my professors actually worked with, he taught our class called sports analytics this past it was in the spring we took it, and he helped us, me and this other girl on my team, Lainey, on this project that we use our, like, GPS data from our little, like, trackers that we wear every practice and game to, like, track our running, distance, accelerations, like, speeds. We did, like, a whole project on that, like, with the help of our professor, and we, like, presented it to or we didn't present it, but we kinda talked about it with, like, our coaches and our strength coach, like, about we really looked at, like, what speeds and stuff we need to hit the day before a game in order to, like, peak and, like, have the highest speeds and, like, the most success, like, on game days. So that was, like, cool, like
Yeah.
and we just did that because me and Lainey were talking to the professor, and we, like, wanted we had to do a project for the class, so we were like, "Well, why don't we use our own data?" And he really helped us out with that, so it's an example of us kind of networking, I guess, creating a relationship with our professor, and he was so interested in that and interested in us and soccer and was able to help us a lot, so but yeah, there's other stories like that, like, some people on my team have, like, gotten jobs and internships and stuff just from, like, one professor that they reached out to one time or something. So,
We
yeah.
we have a lot of people that are wanting to go into some type of field of medical, and know they have to build a relationship because they have to get a letter of recommendation from the professor. So they've built very good relationships and have gotten good recs and yeah,
Yeah, goes a
good
long way.
schools
Yeah.
just because of it, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
We had some of you guys ask us some questions about academics and soccer on the Instagram, and these three were pretty similar. How do athletes manage demanding majors with training and travel? And the other two were pretty similar. How challenging is it to balance soccer and high level soccer academics? Do you think it's hard to handle studying games practices at the same time? So, what would you say your answer to that is, Leah? How do you manage your major with training and traveling and everything?
I mean, it definitely is more difficult than high school because you're not, like, babied, like, you're not told what to do, like, you kinda have to figure it out yourself, and if you don't go to class or anything, like, no one's gonna tell you you're doing it wrong, you're just gonna end up with a bad grade, but in the time again, like Jen said, like, it's all about time management. It definitely is difficult, but you have to stay disciplined and, like, stay on a schedule. And then when you're traveling, like, when you're in the bus, on the plane, whatever, like, half of our team is always just doing homework. So just using, like, all the little time you get, like, even before games, like, we're all in the lounge, like, doing work and stuff. I mean, and it definitely obviously depends on your major. Some majors are, like, easier for people than others. Some are more demanding. But I would say with the majors, like, pick if you wanna do the hardest major, go to the hardest major and be a soccer player. Like, you can do anything. Like, you really there's no, like, limit on what you can or can't do. It's, like, just how much, like, you personally can handle, and then also, like, how much free time you want just for yourself and stuff. But if do any I my advice is any major that you wanna do, you should do it and not worry about, "Oh, like, what if it takes too much of my time?" Like, no, go do it and, like, be that girl who does that and, like, just prove everyone wrong, or if people are like, "Oh, it's too hard," like, "No, go do it." We have an engineer on our team right now, so I mean, and she's always doing work like in the locker room and stuff, but I mean, she's doing it and she's gonna have such a good job after she graduates. So kudos to her for that. But yeah, no, you can do anything, but definitely I would just echo Jen's point on you have to stay organized and be very good at time management. Yeah. What would you say?
I mean, I agree. Time management is huge. And also figuring out like the early stages, what works best for you, like with studying and keeping everything on track. Because at first I had like you and I would do a planner and then I was like, I just need like there's just too much stuff. Like I would have the planner and my computer and everything and my iPad. So I just did these little like pop-up notes on my computer and then I'll like literally go through on Sunday, or if I can't, I'll on Monday and write every single assignment that I have, if I need to study, if I need to listen or read or whatever, and then like
Mhm.
when it's due and then take it off. And then obviously I know what my soccer schedule is, so I know when like I'll have time to get things done. And then also just like being on top of your work is huge. Like doing stuff in advance because I know that I'm going to be traveling on like we have a Friday game. Like I know I'm not going to be in class on my class is on Friday, so I like have to get whatever needs to be done
Mhm.
before then.
Mhm.
So then on Friday I'm not like, "Oh crap, I have this on that I should have done and I want to be taking a nap before the game."
Mhm.
Just being on top of stuff just
Yeah.
because later I know that I'm not going to be wanting to do it. But also when it comes to like the level of major, we have how many people? I think we have 3 pre-med right now, and, like, we had, like, 4 last year. Like, if you can handle it and you can do it and you can do it well, then, like, do it. Like, go for it.
Mhm.
Go and do it. Like, nobody should be stopping you. We also had an engineer last year, and she has a great job now, and she killed it, like, when she was here, and she was a captain on our team, and like, if you can do it and you can deal with the time management, like, the the resources in college are gonna be there for you. It's just how do you use them? Like,
Mhm.
who do you go to your advisor? Do you tell them, "I'm really struggling in this class, I need a tutor." Like, just figuring out, like, what you need because they're gonna help, like, find what you need. They'll literally do anything for
Yeah.
us.
Mhm.
Like, it's just kind of however much you go and ask for the help, they'll help you.
Right.
Especially even if the class is challenging and, like, they know somebody else, some other athlete that has already previously took it and could obviously not they're not gonna give you, like, homework or, like, stuff like that, like, but just help you in a way that, like, maybe they can't. Like, they'll seek out anything,
Yeah.
for you to do well
Mhm.
if
For
you
sure.
ask.
Yeah.
Literally ask.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's all up to you to like take the initiative and like do ask for that. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's it for today. Great episode. Learned a lot about academics and just really on how to balance everything and create relationships with your professors. Those are the two most important things. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Big Life Podcast. If you guys want to ask us any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or the Girl Soccer Network. We love hearing from you guys. So can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.